Okay, guys, I just switched things up a little bit because I'm going to be doing the shading. Now, when you're doing fake skin, you want it to be on a piece of foam, a knee pad, something that has plenty of give to replicate the skin. When you're doing line work, you want it to be a harder surface. That's why they want you to stretch the skin to make it as hard as possible so that the needle penetrates better. Now, when you're doing shading, if the needle penetrates a lot better, it's going to get away from you. The shading will be just way too dark, and it's not good at all. Now, you can practice this on fake skin, but real skin, you really want to feather this in. So I have a 15 mag on here right now, 15 mag, and I have my machine at 5.5 volts right now. So, and I'm just using the triple black from Dynamic. I used it on the line work, and I'm using it on the shading as well, because I'm just gonna feather it in ever so gently. You don't want to put much pressure, you just want to let it glide out. Okay, now instead of using this as a shovel like this and pushing it in, you're going to have lines and gaps in between those lines that you will be able to see. What you want to do is you want to turn your machine, and this is why I said I changed my hand. So you want to turn your machine to come at you or make contact at a 45-degree. If you run the machine this way, it's gonna cut. If you run it this way, you're gonna have, let me zoom that in a little bit better. Okay, so if you were to push it straight on, that's when you'll have the open spaces, the gaps, and you're just gonna have to go over it again. If you go on the side of it like this to try and line it, any type of pressure, you're gonna slice the skin, because it'll be basically two blades right next to each other going like this, slicing the skin. So you want to do it at a nice 45-degree, and you want to I have it to where my needles stick out really short. It's probably 1.5 millimeters ish, and then you just barely brush the tube on there. As you do that, it will feather it in nice and easy instead of hammering down and throwing it. It'll lightly blend it in. Woo! That's never a good sound. If that ever happens, that's when you stop and look at your needles. Which I'm looking at mine, and they are okay so far. But it's fake skin, so that's actually quite high. Okay, and so this is when I just grab a little bit of jelly, A&D ointment, petroleum jelly, Inkies, whatever you prefer. And then, like I said, you just lightly put this in. And you can hear it. Just lightly feathering it in. Okay, and then I still do the pressure dab to get it off. This is not as traumatic to the skin if you do it lightly. If you want to run a client out, that's when you push hard. But see how I'm pushing it to about a 45 degree, and I'm doing more of a whip shade. And you can hear the machine when it finally makes contact. Okay, so that's turning out to be pretty good. And now you can, this is a curb mag, so to help with the blend, I can actually angle it more, but still keep that direction I'm pushing the mag in. So I'm just putting it in nice and easy. Minimal effort here. If you push too hard, which afterwards I can show you what it does, but it slices things apart and it's not good at all. If you want it to be a little bit lighter and extend out more, just whip it out a little bit further, and you want it to go just a little bit lighter. So now we have kind of a good little start right there. And just keep adding more of the jelly. And see, now this one is going to be different. On this left side, due to the angle, I'm right-handed. So you can either move the table, you can move the client, you can move yourself to accommodate your comfort level as well as the client's. If you just try and make it work, there's so much room for error. So now you can even change your hand a little bit. Let me pull this back since I showed you a little bit. I'll show you my hand angle. So you can kind of just pull your butt over, and then I just twist the machine in my hand, and then just make sure that I'm still maintaining that same direction. I'm not going straight on. And see, you can hear it. It's very, very faint when I hit the skin. Okay. That's clean. You do not want to sit in one spot. You want to keep moving. If you ever hit a spot where you have a question, that's when you pull it up. Look up your reference, have your reference there. Just take your machine off. You can turn it off. You can say, hey, do you need a bathroom break? I need to look up something real quick. I think a lot of us are past this part, but I'm still trying to go through the process for everybody just because it happens. And see, I want this left side to be the darker point. I want the outer edge to be darkest. And when I just got ink on there. If there's any ever excess ink, I will make sure that I lay the cartridge down on the back side, just like that. And if there's any ink that is gonna drip out, that napkin will catch it. Instead of burying the needles in there and pulling fibers from the paper towel and going into the skin, because that can cause irritation, it can cause infection, it's just not cool. So and I'm lightly feathering this in. See how I just changed the angle? Kind of blocking you right now, but same principle, just feathering it in. Since I want it done more on the outer edge, I'll kind of angle it more. And I'll make sure that contact is more on the outer edge instead of on the entire mag. And see, not too shabby. It's quite light, but that's okay. That's not a problem. Like I said, the lighter we go, the more you can kind of layer it in. If you just power pack it into the skin, there's really no room for layering. And see, so this one you can just lightly go along the seam and make it just a little bit darker. This helps with contrast. Remember how I said my lines in the lining video was a little shaky at the beginning? Well, you can actually hide shaky line work in a shaded area. Okay, so it's giving us some good contrast right here. Looks starting to give it a little bit of depth. Let me zoom this in for you guys. Okay, there we go. A little bit closer. Don't judge my video recording. Normally I do photography and videos of other people, not myself. So, it's kind of a first for me. Okay, see, and so now I'm just gonna move the client or move the fake skin. Just to give me a little bit better of an angle. Let's see. There's a little hefty black line. It's all good though. Okay. There we go. Now it's starting to looks better. And then what you want to do is you can just, since we got the majority of the shading in where I wanted it, then we can fill in the cross with the mag. Now you want to be real careful if you're doing this with a mag, because the chances of it tearing or overworking the skin is quite high due to the small area and the speed of the machine. So with this one, you can just do it nice and easy. And just lightly make contact, little tiny circles, if you can see that I'm doing that. But see, I'm not doing a heavy hand at all. I'm just letting the machine do all the work, and I'm just guiding it. Now, there's some areas that might be a little bit light, or I didn't get it all the way up to the line. If that happens, what you guys can do is you can put your liner back in, or a shader, and you can just fill in those lines, and it'll help saturate it. Okay, now see, I'm going to change my angle again. I'm just going to do this. Change my grip, change the way I'm holding it for the direction of the cartridge. Oop. Okay, kind of went over just a little bit. With it being a curved mag, those little dots are way too light, they won't stick. So then, see, I'm all out of jelly or ointment. I'll do one last little layer and then just kind of feather in light shading. Just to kind of give the top a little bit of accent. See, and then see how light that is in comparison to the outer edge? God, that's a lot darker on that, on the camera. And see, right now I'm going so light that you can barely hear the machine change when I make contact to the skin. Okay. And just do it nice and lightly. And see, I'm still have the mag turned at a good angle so that it doesn't cause a problem. And I'm just lightly feathering it in. Okay. I think all in all, it's pretty good. If you guys have any questions, or if you want me to do better, just let me know. I'm trying to help you guys learn what I know. So if there's something that I missed, did wrong, that you can catch, please let me know, because I am human and I'm learning as well. I'm just trying to help you guys kind of understand more of what I know. So just adding a tiny bit more shading around the cross. Okay, make sure that you dispose of any soiled paper towels. Now, if you cannot get any of this residual excess ink off, you can take more jelly. So like I said, remember I can still reuse this. Do a tiny bit, enough that it's going to cover the entire thing, and then just do small circles on real skin, fake skin, anywhere like that. Okay, that should remove excess ink, and then you can just do one final wipe, and I can let you guys see it. It's not, like I said, it's not perfect, but I know practice makes perfect. So, like I said, if you guys have anything that you want to know about that I might know, if you want, I can work on anything. I will do my best to show you guys kind of what I do, how I do it. Now when you get better, you can put in some white highlights, you could do a drop shadow, you could put a vine with a rose or something like that, but it all just kind of depends. Right now this is more just line work and a little bit of shading. Well, hope to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think. Yeah, keep pushing forward.